There is a statement that needs to be heard in its exact form, not compressed or paraphrased, because its precise language is the point. In early May, at a business conference in Beverly Hills, FIFA's president was asked about reports that 4 seats at the 2026 World Cup final at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey were listed on FIFA's own official resale platform at $2.3 million each. He laughed. Then he said, "If some people put tickets on a resale market for the final at $2 million, number one, it doesn't mean the tickets cost $2 million. Number two, it doesn't mean anybody will buy them. And if somebody buys a ticket to the final for $2 million, I will personally bring him a hot dog and a Coke to make sure he has a great experience." A hot dog and a Coke. That was the governing body of world football's official response to $2.3 million tickets appearing on its own sanctioned platform. He laughed when he said it. He was at a conference populated by billionaires and senior executives. He told supporters asking about ticket prices to chill. He told people asking about Omar Hersey, the CAF Referee of the Year, who spent 11 hours being questioned at Miami Airport before being placed on a return flight, to chill and relax about that too. Chill. Relax. Hot dog and a Coke. This is the institutional tone of FIFA's leadership at the 2026 World Cup, and the responses generated from supporters, fan organizations, legal authorities, elected officials, and dedicated football followers across the world is the subject this examination is going to address fully. Begin with the numbers, because the fury is not abstract, and the numbers are what made it specific. At the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, official tickets range from $69 at the entry level to $1,670 at the top. The cheapest way into a group stage match through official channels costs $69. That is the baseline. At the 2026 World Cup, the average cheapest available seat across all group stage matches on the resale market has been running at $553. Not the premium end of the market. The average entry price across all fixtures. That represents an increase at the lowest accessible level of approximately 8 times what a supporter paid 4 years earlier in Qatar. 8 times. At the other end of the price range, FIFA listed its own top category final ticket on its direct sales platform at $33,970, not a secondary market resale price. FIFA's own asking price, from FIFA's own platform, tripled in the weeks before the tournament. Then the resale listings appeared at $2.3 million per seat on that same platform, through a system FIFA built, operates, and takes a 30% cut from on every completed transaction. FIFA receives 30% of $2.3 million if that price is paid. The hot dog and the Coke would represent a commercially modest expression of gratitude from that particular arrangement. The president's response to criticism across all of these figures has followed a consistent structure, and it deserves to be examined properly rather than dismissed, because the claims he makes are specific and they require specific responses. His first argument on the $2.3 million listings was that no obligation exists for anyone to pay that price, with alternatives available nearby for $16,000. The problem with this position is its premise. FIFA built the resale platform. FIFA set the rules under which listings appear on it. FIFA takes a percentage of every sale that occurs through it. When a listing appears at $2.3 million on FIFA's own official system, the governing body cannot characterize that listing as something the market produced independently of its own decisions. It produced the conditions. It operates the platform. Its president's response to a question about a listing on his own system was a joke about food service. His second argument was comparative. NBA Finals tickets for Game 3 between the New York Knicks and San Antonio Spurs at Madison Square Garden reached $10,000 at entry. If that pricing is accepted in American sport, why not this? The flaw in this comparison was articulated by supporters more precisely than any analyst could have managed. A World Cup ticket is not competing with other American entertainment products for a local audience. The World Cup belongs to a global community whose members travel from countries where the average annual income is a fraction of what a single NBA Finals ticket costs. The supporters who attend a World Cup come from Bangladesh and Bolivia and Benin, not only from the cities where American professional sports playoffs are held. Benchmarking the World Cup against Madison Square Garden hospitality is not an argument about value. It is a statement about who FIFA believes its audience is. His third argument was the most revealing. 500 million ticket requests came in, with 150 million arriving in the first 15 days of sales. Demand at that scale, he argued, justifies the prices that emerged. He described it as absolutely crazy. 300 years worth of World Cup tickets requested in 2 weeks. He was proud of that figure. Demand does not justify price in any uncomplicated sense when the product being priced is the right to attend the world's most universal sporting competition. The World Cup's legitimacy is not separable from its accessibility. When the Qatar cheapest seat was $69 and the 2026 cheapest group stage average on resale is $553, the message that price differential carries is not one of celebration. It is one of selection. The demand came from the entire global football community. The seats went to the fraction of that community with the financial capacity to meet what the pricing structure required. Now place those prices in the specific context that surrounded them, because the hot dog comment did not arrive in isolation. It arrived in the same week the president told people to relax about the Hersey situation. It arrived hours before UEFA's president issued a statement appointing Hersey to the Super Cup final and describing football as something made to connect people. The contrast between the two institutional responses, one a joke about refreshments, the other a formal appointment and a statement of principle, was immediate, public, and processed by millions of people who had been watching both organizations for months. The discounted ticket allocation that emerged in December in response to initial public pressure offered 130,000 seats at $60 across the full tournament. Across 6.5 to 7 million total tickets, that allocation represents less than 2% of total inventory. Football Supporters Europe and other organizations described those tickets as largely inaccessible to general sale audiences before the broader public had a realistic opportunity to purchase them. The gesture was registered as what it was, a gesture. It was not assessed as a structural response to the underlying problem. Joe Connor has attended football matches in 144 countries. He characterizes himself as the most widely traveled football supporter on earth. He has paid admission in stadiums that most people will never visit, in countries most tourists will never reach. Across 6 decades of commitment to following the game, he looked at the 2026 ticket prices and arrived at a specific conclusion. They were not justifiable. Not unaffordable in the sense of being beyond reach, but unjustifiable in the sense of the relationship between what was being offered and what was being charged. When a person with 144 countries of football attendance experience makes that assessment, it is not a complaint from someone unacquainted with the cost of following the game internationally. It is an evaluation from the most qualified assessor available, and his verdict was that this was different in kind from every previous version of that cost he had encountered. The UK Prime Minister publicly praised a limited affordable ticket allocation, while explicitly calling on FIFA to do more. That calibration, acknowledging the gesture while maintaining public pressure for additional action, reflects how carefully the political environment around this issue had been managed before the tournament. It also reflects how far the temperature had risen. When a head of government is publicly calling on a sports governing body to improve ticket accessibility in the months before a tournament opens, the issue has moved well beyond the usual territory of supporter frustration. The Attorneys General of New York and New Jersey issued formal subpoenas. The Attorney General of California submitted written correspondence. Their specific documented concerns included dynamic pricing that increased average costs by 35% across 95 of the 104 matches between October and the weeks before opening day. See configurations that change after ticket purchases had been completed. Inventory management practices that created impressions of scarcity that did not correspond to actual availability patterns. These are not generalized political objections to high prices. They are specific legal claims about specific commercial practices examined by offices with formal investigative authority. The president addressed those investigations at the Beverly Hills conference. He said FIFA was very relaxed, having verified its approach with the best available legal expertise, and suggested that if FIFA had done something wrong, then effectively every ticket seller in North America had done something wrong as well. That response essentially argues that the investigations lack merit on the basis that FIFA's own lawyers had previously found no issue. Legal investigations exist precisely to assess conduct from outside the institution being investigated. The confidence expressed in internal legal review as a response to external legal inquiry describes an institutional posture rather than an argument. Consider what this sequence looks like from the perspective of someone who simply loves football and wanted to attend. They discovered the entry-level prices were 5 to 8 times what they had been 4 years earlier. They heard the president describe unprecedented demand as a justification. They saw a limited batch of $60 tickets appear and become inaccessible before they could be reached. They watched $2.3 million listings appear on FIFA's own official platform. They heard a hot dog joke at a Beverly Hills conference. They heard the instruction to chill about prices and to relax about a referee turn away at an airport. They saw UEFA appoint that referee to a major final within 24 hours, while FIFA's president was still describing the situation as something to be calm about. And then they made a decision. 174,000 Dutch supporters signed a formal petition asking their national team not to attend. 17,000 people who had already purchased tickets canceled them. The aviation booking data from European carriers recorded the decline. The hotel occupancy figures across American host cities documented it. The 350,000 unsold Dallas tickets at the time of the city council briefing reflected it. The visible empty sections in Guadalajara on the tournament's second evening, with FIFA's president in the stands, registered it. These are not protests or campaigns or coordinated actions. They are individual decisions made by people who love football and who, presented with the full picture of what attending this tournament required, concluded that what was being asked of them was not a reasonable expression of what the World Cup is supposed to be. Their decision was recorded not in petitions or public statements, but in hotel ledgers and aviation databases and ticketing platforms and empty premium sections visible in global broadcasts. The hot dog and the Coke was a joke. What millions of football supporters communicated in return, through absent bookings and canceled tickets and seats that remain unfilled in stadiums FIFA declared sold, was not a joke. It was a verdict delivered quietly and without press conferences, in the only language available to people who had been told to chill, the language of not coming.